Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. In our last discourse, we had more conversation around karmas and ahamkaras and the superiority of one God over the other. So let's go on now to read chapter 2, now that we're in book 5. The king said, Lord, you have described fully the glory of the Mahamaya Yogeshwari. Now describe her life and character. I'm very eager to hear them. This whole universe, moving and non-moving, has been created by Maheshwari, the Divine Mother. Who is there that desires not to hear her glory? Vedavyasa spoke, O king, you are very intelligent. I will describe in detail all this to you. Whoever does not describe her glory to the peaceful and faithful is certainly low-minded. In the days of yore, a terrible battle ensued between the Devas and the demons, forces on the earth, when Mahisa was the ruler of the world. Mahisa went to the mountain of Sumeru and performed a very severe and excellent tapasya, wonderful even to the gods. O king, meditating on his Ishtadevata, the deity of his worship in his heart, elapsed a full 10,000 years, when Brahma, the grandfather of all the lokas, was pleased with him, and the four-faced Brahma arrived there on his vehicle, the swan, and asked Mahisa, O one of virtuous soul, ask from me what you desire. I will grant that boon. Mahisa said, O Lord, lotus-eyed, I want to become immortal. Therefore, O thou, the grandfather of the Devas, dost thou do for me, so that I have no fear of death. Brahma said, O Mahisa, birth must be followed by death, and death must be followed by birth. This is the eternal law of nature. Then know this as certain that when one is born, one must die, and when one dies, one will be born. O Lord of the demons, what more to say than this, that high mountains, vast oceans, and all the beings will die when their time comes. O ruler of the earth, you are virtuous, therefore ask any other boon than this immortality. I will grant it to you. Mahisa said, O grandsire, grant then that no deva, no demon, no human being of the male sex can cause my death. There is none among women who can cause my death. Therefore, O lotus-eyed, let women be the cause of my death. How can women slay me? They are too weak to kill me. Brahma said, O Lord of the demons, your death will certainly occur at any time through a woman. O highly fortunate one, no man will be able to cause your death. Thus granting him the boon, Brahma went to his own abode. The Lord of the demons, too, returned to his place, very glad. So King Janamejaya said, O Vedavyasa, whose son was this powerful Mahisa, and how his birth took place, and why, too, did he get a body of a buffalo? Vedavyasa said, O king, Ramba and Karamba were the two sons of Danu. These two demons were far famed in this world for their preeminence. O king, they had no issues, hence desirous of issues, they went to the sacred banks of the Indus River and there performed severe asceticism for long years. Karamba got himself submerged in water and thus began his severe tapasya, while the other Ramba had recourse to a juicy peepal tree haunted by yakshinas, and there began to worship fire. Ramba remained engaged in his worship of the 5 fires. Knowing this, Indra, the lord of Sachi, was pained and hurried thither, being very anxious. Going to the Indus River, Indra assumed the form of a crocodile and caught hold of the leg of the wicked Karamba and killed him. Hearing of the death of his brother, Ramba got very much enraged, and wishing to offer his own head as an oblation to the fire, he wanted to cut off his own head. He being infuriated, he held the hairs of his head by his left hand, and catching hold of a good axe by his right hand, was on the point of cutting it when the fire gave him knowledge desisted him from this act and spoke thus, "You are stupid. Why have you desired to cut off your own head? Killing oneself is a great sin, and there is no means of deliverance from this sin. Why are you then ready to execute it? Do not seek your death now. What end will that serve you? Rather ask boons from me. Thus you will get your welfare." Hearing thus the sweet words of the fire, Ramba quitted the hold of his hairs and said, "O Lord of the Devas, if thou art pleased, grant my desired boons that a son be born unto me who will destroy the forces of my enemy and who will conquer the three worlds. And that son should be invincible in every way by the Devas, demons, and men, very powerful, assuming forms at will and respected by all." The fire said, "O highly fortunate one, you will get your son as you desire. Therefore desist now from your attempting suicide. O highly fortunate Ramba, with any female of whichever species you will cohabitate with, you will have a son, more powerful than you. There is no doubt in this." Hearing thus the sweet words of the fires as desired, Ramba, the chief of the demons, went, surrounded by Rakshas, to a beautiful place adorned with picturesque sceneries, when one lovely she-buffalo, who was very maddened with passion, fell into the sight of Ramba, and he desired to have sexual intercourse with her in preference to other women. The she-buffalo, too, gladly yielded to his purpose, and Ramba mated with her, impelled, as it were, by destiny. The she-buffalo became pregnant with his semen virile. The demon, too, carried the she-buffalo, his dear wife, to Patala, the lower regions, for her protection. On one occasion, another buffalo got excited and wanted to fall upon the she-buffalo. The demon was ready to kill him. The demon came hurriedly and struck the buffalo for the safety of his wife, whereupon the excited buffalo attacked him with his horns. The buffalo struck him so violently with his sharp horns that Ramba fell down senseless all on a sudden and finally died. Seeing her husband dead, the she-buffalo quickly fled away in distress, and with terror she quickly went to the peepal tree and took refuge under the yakshas. But that buffalo, excited very much and maddened with vigor, ran in pursuit of her, desiring intercourse with her. On seeing the miserable plight of that weeping she-buffalo, distressed with fear, and seeing the buffalo in pursuit of her, the yakshas assembled to protect her. A terrible fight ensued between the buffalo and the yakshas, when the buffalo, shot with arrows by them, fell down and died. Ramba was very much liked by these yakshas, so they cremated his dead body for its purification. The she-buffalo, seeing her husband laid in the funeral pyre, expressed her desire to enter also into the fire. The yakshas resisted, but the chaste wife quickly entered into the burning fire along with her husband. When the she-buffalo died, the powerful Mahisa rose from his mother's womb from the midst of the funeral pyre. Ramba, too, emerged from the fire in another form out of his affection towards his son. Ramba was known as Ratabija after he had changed his form. His son was thus born as a very powerful demon and became famous by the name of Mahisa. The king of the demons installed Mahisa on the throne. The very powerful Ratabija and the demon Mahisa thus took their births and became invincible of the devas, demons, and human beings. O king, I have now described to you the birth of the high-souled demon Mahisa and his getting the boon, all in detail. Here ends the second chapter, the fifth book, on the birth of Mahisa demon in the Devi Bhagavatam, the Mahapuranam, composed of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.